Okay guys, welcome back to another episode of FitPro-X TV. Our guest today is Ads, the content PT. You might recognize him from the network event. Obviously Ads came on as a speaker, so we're going to be posting that up to FitPro-X TV as well, so make sure you catch that. He's going to go through all of his story, but today we're just going to get into it because we know him well, and you guys should once you've watched that video, and yeah, we're just going to get into it. So welcome Ads.
Cheers guys, pleasure to be here.
PT.
Let's go.
Do
you know what I do? I tee things up all the time.
Yeah.
I always try and say like, so I had Michael Jackson's bodyguard on last week, right? I haven't released the episode yet, and obviously lived with Michael Jackson for about 10 years or something like that. And he'd say something, I don't know, I'm just making this up at the top of my head, but he'd be like, yeah, so me and Michael would get Howard shut down and would go up through the back door and do all this. And then I'd turn around and say, what, so you and Michael Jackson used to... But it does sound fake. When I watch it back, or if I'm like, actually, I sound like a rebel.
Because you know.
But I know it's for the real. But he was so ask us like do it like that because he wants the real.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? So and mate, all his reels are doing numbers like.
Well, yeah, I've seen. I don't know who I heard this from, but apparently Chris Williamson has what he wants. He has ideas for shorts as part of his interview, and then tries to.
Bait them in.
Because have you not noticed that he's got like a, he must have it written down because he'll just say some like mad quote, like 4-sentence long quote, based on something.
He uses a laptop, doesn't he?
Yeah. So is he reading from that? Do you think?
Yeah, definitely.
do the ex-prisoners that you get in think you're wearing a wire?
No, mate. But you know what happened? I'm not going to mention who it is, but I had a guy on, and I said to him, I said, I've had to vet you because I'm in a room in the middle of London, for instance, with a guy who's just done 10 years for running around with shotguns. I said, so I've got to vet you because it's risky for me. I'm bringing 20 grand's worth of equipment to the shoot. I went, do you vet me? He went, of course I do, mate. I was like, serious? He went, I've got 3 guys waiting outside just in case it goes left. I goes, are you being serious? He goes, mate, legit. He goes, I can't tell you. He went, but I know what car you've got. He goes, I know what beer you're in. He went, I had to watch you do all this. And I went, bloody hell, you're that. He goes, obviously it turns out that that's the type of character he was anyway. He used to watch his victims for weeks and that before he'd carry out these. But it was
Has he followed you here?
But it was frightening. I mean, the fact that my car's got me branding all over it, I'm like, I know, you know which car's mine. But no, do you know what I mean? In terms of that, I thought, it kind of shows how calculated he was. And then when he went on to tell his story, I thought, no wonder.
So he had people like waiting just in case, like he didn't come. If I don't come out in 2 hours, come in, sort of thing. Or
hi, mate. Like, yeah.
I guess you just get used to it, though, wouldn't you? If you were in that sort of like world. You're just used to taking those precautions because it's just anything can happen. There's
been certain scenarios where people have said, like, they've got to the shoot and said, can we do it in that room? Do you mind if like, for instance, I've had this a few times as well, like, people have wanted to, they've had certain, like, they could have been religious, they might want to pray, they might want to do it, and I'm like, I mean, I can't interfere with that. If you want to do it, you've got to do what you got to do, but they might say to us, like, can you leave the room while and I'm like, man, I've got all my gear in there, like, I don't want to be disrespectful, but, like, I don't know you, like, you have literally been to prison for robbing people. This is what you do. Like, so can I? But then at the same time, I also can't disrespect them. Be like, no, you can't. You know what I mean? Because they're doing me a favour, I suppose, by coming on.
Yeah, that's
so
that's
it's
weird.
tricky.
Do you ever feel like, because I wouldn't want to have those awkward conversations with people, especially if they just got out and
Imagine saying to it like a fucking high-end gangster, no, mate. No,
I'd be like, no bother, mate.
Do you know what I did? Do you know what I did? I was with, Mike. Mm-hmm. I was on one and I said to the guy who I was interviewing, I said he'd done 20 odd years, mate, and I'm not going to say what he'd done, but basically, mate, I said in the podcast, he told his story. I looked at him and went, so basically you're an arsehole then. That's what, but I didn't mean it in like I wasn't. Oh Jesus, obviously I wasn't trying to cause a scene, but I meant it because it got to us so deep. I was like, you fucking arsehole doing that to people. Like, I can't handle that. Like, it bothered us that much. And then he looked at us. And he went, if you say that again, I'm going to take your face off. And I was like, fucking hell, mate. Like, and then how do I conduct myself? Because in the back of my mind, I'm like, I just want to leave this. I don't feel comfortable. But at the same time, like, no, I'm recording a podcast here. Like, I'm here for the reason. He could be an unsavoury character. It could go left. So I had to continue the podcast. But I thought, actually, do you know what?
How did you carry on from that?
Like the modern day Ross Kemp.
I had to, mate.
Ross,
it was
Ads war on fucking criminals.
Mate, I'm just a lad who films PTs, and when I'm in that, I'm like, fucking hell, mate, what have I done here?
I couldn't be getting people in and like talking to them on stuff like that because people would see the clips and they would just
You'd be agreeing with everything. He'd be like,
I would be too compromised. If he was like, oh, can you leave the room for a little bit? Even if I was like, even if I had 20 grand's worth of kitten, mate, I'd shit myself. I'd be like, yeah, no bother. He was go, oh, I'll take this, mate. I'll help him pack the van. I'd be taking it myself. I'd be going, right, mate, I'll put this here. Stick that on the front seat because it might slide around a little bit. Like,
You would, wouldn't you?
do you know what I mean? I wouldn't be like, oh, so you're an arsehole then. I'd be like, you know, they probably had it coming.
It just came, when I said that, it just came out. I didn't mean to.
And did you leave that in where he said he put, like, I'll take your face off?
Not that bit. I didn't leave that in because it would have made me look bad. But I left the bit in when he said something back. He was like, I think he said, I'll give you a slap or something. But I didn't leave the rest in.
See, I would have just left the bit in
because it would have made him look bad as well.
I would have just left the bit in where I called him an arsehole and then make it look like he dropped his arse by saying nothing back. And then just go back to make sure.
Just silence.
Like, oh, so you're an arsehole then? And then he's just like, do you know when they cut to a scene where you're talking from 10 minutes ago and he's just doing this?
Mate, I've had real feedback though where people have said, like, I mean, one of my friends, he's a director, he does a lot of big docs for Netflix and stuff, and he said to us, he went, you want to be careful. He went, it's great that you've got access to people like that. He said, but you want to be careful because people develop fascinations with hosts of podcasts. I said, why do you mean? He said, especially from the criminal fraternity. He said, because you've got to remember, in a way, to them, you're their lifeline. You're listening to them for an hour. They've literally probably struggled to get that all their life. That's why they've carried out a lot of the things. They want the attention. Now you're giving them it. Just because. So it's not where I don't want to become that. Do you know what I mean?
You'll get people in as well who, like, you know, you get a lot of people like, you know, fake valor sort of guys who say that they've done stuff that they haven't done. You probably get that in prisons. I know you get that with people like saying that they were in the military or they were, but they didn't do what they said they'd done. Generally speaking, people who've done proper stuff don't talk about it. People who've been in the military and have done stuff and seen stuff don't talk about it. People who've, you know, done terrible things, you know, they don't generally talk about it too much.
Yeah, unless they're an egotist because they just want them.
I know, but like, you know, obviously you've gave them a safe environment where you're like asking them about it. Because, you know, if someone's going, yeah, and then I blew his head off, you know, most people will be like, that'll be the end of the conversation. Whereas obviously you're there to find that out. Not many people want to talk about that in a day-to-day situation. People love watching it, don't they? Like, it's very different me watching you do that. Like, I feel safe as houses watching you through my phone talk to these people.
But when you're actually there, mate, it is a different. But you're right, mate. I mean, to be honest, I still like the guy who said that to us. I understood. I called him an arsehole, mate, and he's got a big reputation. He's not going to stand for that by anyone. So I do totally get that, and I got on with him. I've never ever had a guest that I've not got on with. Every single person, no matter what they've done, I've given them that, as you say, I've given them a safe environment. So they've felt that actually, do you know what? Like, I'm not biased, mate. If you've done something, there's a reason why we're doing the podcast, because you've did something particularly crazy in your life and that interested us. But I think for the viewers, a lot of people are fascinated by people who've done bad things, which is, it's mad, but it's even madder when you're in the conversation with someone.
I think it's like you know, people like horror. I think it's like people like horror films, though, don't they? Like, they like that scare factor. I wouldn't say it's like something that people are like, you know, it entertains them for the fear factor, rather 100%. Than it being like, oh, I can't wait to fucking. It seems like
there's a lot of people who are really invested in it as well, though. I feel like it's something that, you know, you get a lot of, particularly. I mean, I don't know if I haven't seen the actual statistics on this or demographic, but you hear a lot of women who are like particularly interested in like those crime documentaries and those crime series, and then obviously you've got like, you know, the stuff with Ted Bundy, when there was loads of women turning up to his trial and
writing
stuff like
letters
that.
And that.
Writing him letters and things. So it's like, it's obviously, I mean, did the woman that he didn't kill not write a book about it or something?
Yeah, I don't know.
She was the one that he like let go. So you do get people who are really, and then even the Dharma thing, you know, people were like really into that. And, you know, I saw people posting like video. Obviously, it's not actually Jeffrey Dahmer, the guy who's playing him, but people were like posting videos about how hot they found him.
Yeah, mate.
And obviously,
I think there's actually studies done, and the reason there's fascinations around people like that. I know this has completely nothing to do with what we're talking about, but if you go back to like sort of the wild, right? And if you're running around killing people, you're the survivor. So people are biologically attracted to someone like you because you're resourceful. You're taking out any victim, anyone potentially like, I'm going to hang around Alex because he's killing everyone.
I'm going to hang around Alex because he knows how to chop someone up in his bath.
So instantly, a woman, although scared, would feel protected by you.
Yeah, it's resourceful, isn't it? Like, you know, you start putting the rubber gloves on, getting the acid out. You know, there's something about
Just like, he's done it, you know, you start putting it on.
There's something attractive about that. You're pulling their teeth out with a plier, you're putting them into a little bag. You know, you're putting them somewhere different. Women do find that. I've found personally that women find that attractive.
Well, I seen.
You go to B&Q, you pick up a saw. Does this cut through bone?
Yeah. He's never done DIY. I seen something the other day though where it's like the attraction actually comes from the fact that they don't do it. Do you know? What is it? They said on the podcast that I was watching, it said a strong man is someone that you know is dangerous, but morally chooses not to do it.
Yeah, that's what Jordan Peterson said, isn't he? He said there's no virtue in just being weak and unable to enforce your...
The problem with that is, though, how do you know that they can do it if they don't?
Well, no, like... no, but...
Like, I know that sounds like... I get it, but... Because then it's like taking a serial killer and saying, yeah, you killed all them people. You would have been much more powerful if you didn't do it, because we know you can.
No,
well, you fucking wouldn't be the killer, would you?
I don't know if it's necessarily for serial killers, but it's like, you know, there's nothing brave about just not being able to protect yourself and others. Like, just being a total beta that just is unable... Like, being a total pacifist isn't, like, showing any sort of restraint. Whereas if you're, like... You know, if you could physically, be physically impulsive, but you choose to de-escalate the situation. You choose to just be like separate it, break it up, even though you know that you could just fly through that person if you wanted to. But you just instead you almost give them a win.
Do you know why I understand that? Because when I look at and I've met them, very successful people who have got property portfolios, drive a Bora, drive a Volkswagen Passat. In the worth 80 million quid.
Well, that's why when you mean...
Because I know they could have the Bugatti.
Yeah.
And there's something about that. Far more than a guy who's doing 40 grand a year driving a GLE.
Yeah, but do you not feel it's the same when you meet someone who's like nails, but they're not aggressive? Because they just know they're stoic.
Well, look at cage fighters.
Because, they're just chilled. Like, because they know that they've got that nuclear option. They know that if they needed to, they would handle it. But instead of being like aggressive, you know, they're not bullies. You find like that. I think the thing is that usually bullies and people who like go out and try and bully people are insecure and weak.
Yeah,
because they're trying to get there before them. Whereas the people who are secure in themselves, the people who know they can handle themselves, but are just polite, gentle, kind, and I think that's where the strength comes from. You know, having the ability to be an arsehole, but not being an arsehole.
Well, I had a cage fighter on the podcast, and he was a proper sensitive soul, lovely lad. We had a good crack on, just seems like one of the lads. And you wouldn't think nout of him if he was wearing a hoodie, because he doesn't even look like a fighter. Good looking kid and that. And well, I'd make crack on. I said to my guns, so if you went like in the Sunderland town centre, he went, well, I know no one I could do anyone in a bar. Like, unless there was another, he went, I'm a trained fighter. I've did it all my life.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm like, he's like 5'7" or so. I'm like, what the hell? Like, most people would probably think they could throw you around. And he was like, I could just do anyone and it wouldn't matter.
Have you seen the pie chart? And it's like reasons why men think they'd win in a street fight. And like, it's 1% of the pie chart is they are a trained fighter. Yeah. And then 99% of the pie chart, it's just like, you don't know me, man. When I see red, like I start like body start hitting the floor. I'd lose it. And honestly, that's what it's like. Like so many people. Like I've done like some Brazilian jiu-jitsu by no means, and I had Tyrone on the podcast who does it. Mate, like when you're in there with him, he's probably, I don't know how heavy he is. I'm not gonna. He's lighter than me. He's probably like 25, 30 kilos lighter than me. Like 5 or 6 inches shorter, let's just say. If I walked past him on the street, I would, anything kicked off, I would think, other than the fact that he kind of looks a bit like a fighter, and his name's Tyrone. If you didn't know his name, you didn't have a name by
Tyrone screams
Tyrone's
fighter.
A fighter. Like. Yeah, you have to be able to fight if your name's Tyrone. So you would just think to yourself, oh yeah, that's just a normal guy. Mate, I'm a toddler. I get in there with him, I'm a baby. Like, he can do whatever he wants to me.
Fucking folds you like a piece of paper.
Just, he can choose to do it when he wants. He knows he has like 10 things that he knows that I'm probably going to do before he's seen all those.
Mate, I've got mates who, when I've said to them, my guns, what's the extent of your confidence? You guys will put it this way, I know if I lie on me back, and you've got you can't beat us, and I'll lie on the floor.
Yeah.
You can't. Someone's already on the back, and you still can't.
Mate,
you couldn't even kick them in the head.
Yeah.
I did a few rounds with a guy who fights in Cage Warriors, just like in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And he came from a combat sambo like background. Mate, he held me down. This is embarrassing. He held me down for the full time with his head.
See?
He held me down with his forehead, and he was just spidering around me, holding me down. Mate, I was like, what?
Say you're a slippery
I
seal.
was lying on my back, and he was holding me down with his head because he was obviously working on something for him. He was getting what he could get out of me. So like, if I was going to play against someone who's like never played basketball before, I could just take left-handed shots, and I could just take three-pointers.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I could do something that was going to challenge me. He was doing something that was challenging me. Mate, he was keeping me pinned down with his forehead. And I was like, but it was hurting as well. Like, he was putting pressure with his forehead, mate. I was like, and obviously I'm like, it's different with boxers. So like with boxers, because they're strikers, everyone always feels like they've got a puncher's chance, don't they?
Yeah,
and you don't.
Nah.
Like if even well, we both know Troy. Like before I even could start thinking about what to do, he'd take your jaw off.
Yeah.
So
plus, when you're at that level, you see things quicker than the general public. Do you know?
Yeah,
like I know a fighter that he goes into fight camp. He fights at a good level. Goes into fight camp, and he says at the end of that fight camp, right? He sees, if he's crossing the road, he sees traffic slower than what normal people would, and he glides across. He's like, normal life just becomes
dodge a car,
like,
you can dodge a ball.
yeah, exactly.
If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
It's just like it's floating. And I mean, like, you can't go to jail if you have a fight and you're a professional fighter and
are you not
for a lethal weapon.
Yeah, are your hands not classed as lethal weapons if you're a professional fighter?
That's not that.
That's class, that, isn't it?
And the way the media would portray you as well would be like heavily built, trained fighter.
Yeah.
Raised man's eye socket when all you did was give someone a.
And
You know what I mean?
they
That's
started
the
it.
problem.
Yeah.
They started
Well, that's
it.
the thing, don't you? You have to be like, just that is it. You could go and throw your weight around. Like Francis Ngannou could just go and start throwing his weight around in bars. I bet if you met him, mate, you'd be the kindest person ever.
Yeah,
Because he doesn't have to be an arsehole.
Yeah,
He's
of course.
already got your number.
And you've got to remember these people, their mentality, they're willing to be humbled themselves. So they're not gonna, because they don't know you're not trained either. So there's a natural proclivity to not want to do that.
Yeah.
Unless it's in a controlled environment, then they can.
Yeah, I feel like most fighters, if they met me, would work it out pretty quickly. No, I don't think they'd be like. Yeah, they probably wouldn't be like thinking, "Oh God, can this guy?"
Put it this way: there's a reason that we don't
I'll put it out there straight
ex-criminals in here. Call them arseholes.
Yeah.
Would you not be interested in getting some on? I mean, they probably don't.
They would have every single Mac in here.
No, mate, they wouldn't be. There's no Macs.
No, but they're not.
Listen,
They're
there's
not
no
current.
Macs in
They're not
here.
active. They're not active criminals. They've done that stuff.
Mate, I know people who've done like mad stuff and done time and stuff like that, and they're some of the nicest people that you've met. Like, the thing is, 98. This is a made-up statistic. 98% of criminals were in that position because they wanted to make money. It wasn't like there's not that many people who are like just.
I don't think Bundy was short of a few quid. Like, he was a trained lawyer or something.
You've got.
He's in the 2%.
You've got that 2% of like psychopath, like the codeine killer, like people who just want to like
It's higher than
murder
2%,
prostitutes.
Yeah.
No. How many people are in jail for drugs compared to how many people are in jail for cutting people's head off for no reason?
Yeah, but if you look at like
most
the
people
amount
who
of
are in
paedophiles
jail,
and fucking-
most people who are in jail are white collar crimes, making money, selling drugs, making money, theft, making money. Like when you think about most crimes, like not that many crimes are just erratic murders. There's not that many crimes where it's just like a random guy walking down the street and you go, fucking hell, I'm going to cut his head off. Like, it might be gang violence. What are gangs there for? To make money. So, most crimes stem back from making money.
That.
That's why a lot of people leave. They, get their head straight, they get a better network, and they start making good money from it. Like, they...
But you find there's a lovely crossover between criminals and businessmen.
Yeah.
Like it's massive. Like I know for a fact the majority of criminals that I've even interviewed, or ex-criminals, sorry, I know they'd be great online PTs.
Well, yeah.
I know they would, because they can run a business, they look mint, they've trained with next to now, the nutrition's been horrendous, but they still look class.
Yeah.
What excuse do other people have?
Think about the sort of infrastructure and the sort of like massive business people like Pablo Escobar made. Like that, you know, people will go, oh yeah, no, like that guy built.
Yeah, he went into government.
An insane like infrastructure of business. Yeah, it was based on a criminal activity, but you look at people like Willie Falco, like building the Miami City skyline. You look at all of these people who are like high level criminals who are like come from, you know, they've got massive businesses. Yeah. They're businesses.
Yeah, we've got a model that basically is aimed to. Don't
talk about that.
I'll start that again.
Right. On the podcast.
We've got a model that's aimed for a PT to make $5,000 a month, right? Now within that there's a scaling element. Now, if you look at any high-end drug dealer that's done well in it, right? What they've done, they probably started themselves. They're in the trenches. Do you know? They're on the gym floor. They're wiping machines, all right? You know, doing a bit on the street corners. Then what they've done is they thought, I'll go a bit bigger. I'll get a higher product. I'll get someone on to do it for us. They've scaled. Essentially, it is a business model. It's just illegal. Obviously you could end up in prison for 20 years for it.
Yeah.
So they are good businessmen.
It's good these days. What they're slinging around.
On that, let's get on to the fitness industry.
So we got you in to talk at the networking event, and I think one of the most important things to me about bringing you in to speak is having someone who has created a business which serves the fitness industry, as opposed to taking the usual route through becoming a personal trainer, being a gym owner, that sort of thing. You went in the other direction. You said, right, the fitness industry is growing. How do I facilitate the people who are in the industry, and how do I become a service provider for a growing industry? And I just think that's there's a lot of people now who probably do have an interest in fitness. I think you've got to have an interest in fitness, but have no interest in being a personal trainer.
Yeah.
And do you think there's going to be more and more opportunities for people then to make money from the fitness industry without direct being a business to consumer fitness professional?
I think there's definitely more opportunity for people to make money in the fitness industry, predominantly if you're online, obviously. But again, that's the reason why the service that I've created for personal trainers, online coaches, is to help them grow in that area. I know for a fact, and I think I might have mentioned this at the event, like people who are especially newly qualified PTs, I'd love to know the drop-off rate. I should know it really, but
70%.
So 70% of personal trainers who qualify
in the first year fail.
They fail within as in they stop being a PT within the first year. Yeah, pretty much.
Haven't made it.
That is, to be honest, mate, anything over 10% is frightening. 70% just goes to show, and I would hazard a guess that the reason being is that they have no idea how to attract clients. Ultimately, they're not going to have a booming business and leave. Yeah. So how are they doing that? What are they doing? They're either falling out of love with it, and that's because they're stuck in a gym that they don't want to be in, or they go online and they can't get any business, they can't create revenue. Well, how do you do that? You need to make as much noise as possible. I don't understand to this day why there isn't more people like me creating content for personal training. I honestly, mate, I don't. It blows me mind, and I know I probably know the best in the UK who are doing it, but I don't know any more than 10.
I think just
like, why isn't there 10,000 and that's still not enough?
As the industry grows, I think those, you were quite early into that. I think, as the industry grows and as like we said, 70% of them drop out after their first year. Now we'll see more success because more people are working with content creators, they're working with other businesses, they're doing collaborations, they're making it more of a business. That should work to drop the dropout rate. Yeah. And then people will see other people making more of a success, because at the moment you see the top guys. So you see the guys who are making an absolute fortune. Then you see the kind of busy-ish personal trainers, but a lot of those even busy personal trainers, they get quite jaded in their roles. They start getting quite bitter and resentful because even though they're busy and they're doing 40, 50, maybe even 60 hours a week, they're not actually making that much. And then the money that they do make, they don't get to enjoy it because they're working 60 hours a week, and they only make money when they're working. So like, you're not getting that sweet spot, where you've got loads of these hybrid coaches, but the more people like yourself get those PTs to a good level, then those people will stay in the industry, and there'll be other people going, right, well, there's loads of people, these content creators for the PTs are absolutely flat out. You can't even get booked in with them. Right, I'm going to go into that.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think by these service providers like yourself providing value to the PTs who are in the industry, there'll be more good PTs who are making money in the industry, and then more service providers will jump on that.
100%. But I think with that comes more bad PTs as well, because I know personally a lot of PTs, bodybuilders, online coaches, and they're doing 10, 15 grand. I know them personally. 50 clients paying you 200 quid a month. It's not hard to do. I'm not saying it's not hard to do. You've got to be good at what you do. But it's not hard to scale that model, because you've got 1 million 10 o'clock in the mornings on a Monday if you're online. So as long as you can get them numbers in, I'm not saying you have to put together a general plan, but ultimately the body works one way.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So you're going to get results. It's not hard for an online coach to yield results. Whether they're good results and quality results, that's another thing.
It's simple, isn't it?
But it's simple.
A simple formula.
If someone applies themselves and stays consistent with social media, there's no reason why they wouldn't. However, that being said, what's happening is now you're getting people who are going into the personal training space because they see what other people can make. So therefore, they're giving people results which are, or results at all, not negligible, for the sake of the fact that they want to make money. And I'm going to also caveat that with the fact that there's nothing wrong, and I always said this off air, but there's nothing wrong with wanting to make money. Ultimately, if you're a personal trainer, you are a business. And it may be hard to separate yourself from your business, but you are a person who wants to make money. If you're a potential client out there and you're looking for a coach, don't be put off. And I urge anybody who's looking for a coach, don't be put off because their coach wants to make money. It doesn't mean they don't want to get your results. What if they've got a flash car?
Yeah, I'll be saying, go a lot of the time what people should actually be looking for is, what is this personal trainer making? What is this coach making? Because if they've got 100 online clients that are all consistent, they're all happy, they're all getting results, why is that? Rather than someone who's like, look, I'm just here to help you. It tends to be that people go for the ones that are doing well, which then restricts you when you're just starting off.
It depends on the type of person you are. Like, you've always seen those pictures of, like, if your lawyer dresses like this, you're going to jail. Mm-hmm. Like, I want my lawyer to wear a £2,000 suit and drive a Ferrari, because I don't want to go to fucking jail. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's the sort of person that I want.
Problem is that suit rented?
Well, I want Harvey Specter. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I want the top guy from the top firm, if I can afford them, because I want the best, because it's important. And I think everybody's freedom is important to them, which is why they wouldn't skimp on something like that. Your fitness should be the same. Yeah, 100%. Like, you should want the top guy. Now, unfortunately, the money that they make isn't directly proportionate to how good the service that you'll get is, because the people who have got 500 online clients who are all paying 200 quid a month, I was training with a guy, and he's got an online coach, and he gets a minute voice note a week. Drop your calories 200, up your cardio 100, 100 calories, see you. You'll fucking get results. If every week your coach tells you to drop 100 calories out and up your cardio by 10 minutes, you're going to get results. Yeah. But 100%. It's like, it's understanding that, how much the coach is making isn't necessarily a reflection of how good they are. Yeah, of course. It's just a reflection of how good their marketing is, because they might know that it costs them £100 per client for a client acquisition by putting money into content creation, ads, whatever it might be, and they charge £250, so they've got a net profit of £150, because it's, client acquisition costs versus what they get, and then they're happy to just keep pumping in. They're happy to put 10 grand a month into ads to close that many people. But it's like, the issue is that people, the fitness industry has always been an industry, and I strongly believe that you have to be passionate about it. Mm-hmm. So you have to be passionate about fitness. So like you said, there's nothing wrong with wanting to make money, but I think if you get into the industry, you have to be passionate about fitness and helping people, because your job is to be a cup full of motivation, and it has to be overfilling to the point where you can pass it out to other people 100%. And you can splash that on all your clients. Now, if you're not passionate about it, you're just not going to be able to get those results for people.
I think there's two different models. So if you are if you're solely an in-person trainer, then you don't want to seem like you're there to make money. if you're an online trainer, you want to seem like you're there to make money, because the people that are coming into the gym, they develop more of a personal relationship with you. And as we spoke about, sometimes it can be detrimental to the business to be show offy, and you know, like, if you look like you're doing absolutely amazing, they take that personally, and it, you know, they might think, well, I've paid for them rims on the car.
Yeah,
do you know, because it's more of a personal relationship. If you're online, you want to look busy because that's what's going to get the numbers in. Do you know, like, if someone brought out a new calorie tracking app that no one uses, they're not going to use that because no one uses it. Everyone uses MyFitnessPal because it's the most reputable one. Yeah. So I think there's two different models. But the other side of that is that when you are an in-person trainer, you've got to continue to up your price. Reason being is, as PTs, you will get sick, and it happens to everyone, every business, everyone going to work. You get burnt out, your quality then drops. If your session quality drops, you don't become worth it. The only way to stop yourself burning out and to actually want to be doing it and keep that motivation level that you've just mentioned up and continue to motivate your clients is by increasing your price, because you feel more worthy of the money you're charging.
And then you need the time as well. You need the time to kind of recharge your own batteries. The only reason you can take time off is if you're at a higher price point.
It's harder in person to show scarcity, because they can see that hour that you're free. So they can, when they come in and they do that session with you, they can't see the list of people that would potentially want to be in that session. It's kind of, that information isn't readily available. They just know that you're free between 9 and 10 in the morning. The thing with online is, and the reason that the busier you look, the better you look, is that nobody wants to buy things that people are trying to sell them. Everybody knows that nobody wants to buy what people want to buy. They don't want to buy what you want to sell them. They want to buy what other people want to buy. That's why there's a queue at the Gucci store, but there's not at B&M Bargains, because people don't want to buy what you're trying to shove down their throat. They want to buy the things that they can see other people want to buy. So if they can see that you're in demand as an online coach, you've got 200 clients, they want to train with you, because it's like the nightclub analogy, isn't it? Like, there's two nightclubs, one's got a queue with 200 people out the door, and it's 30 quid to get in. One of them's free to get in, there's no queue, and you get a free shot with your first drink. Mate, that analogy is like, actually happens every night of the week around the world. Even Newcastle, I can think of it now. Think about that nightclub that's fucking empty and dead inside. It's free to get in, it's a quid. You get your first drink's a quid, versus the nightclub that's 30 quid to get in, and you might even get knocked back. People want to go to the one that they might get knocked back from.
Yeah, I know promoters that would just get a load of their staff to just stand in the queue all night, and then by the time, you know, half an hour later, the queue is round the corner.
Yeah, of course. I think the problem, ultimately, it's all down to skin in the game. I don't think you can argue with it. I think if you're a personal trainer, an online coach, whatever you are, you've got to be putting yourself, whether you've transformed your own body, transformed your mother's, your nana's, it doesn't matter. You've just got to have some kind of result. For instance, now, if I look at people who are filming in the industry, other creators like myself, mate, I've been doing this for 15 years this year, right? For the first 9 years, as I said, I didn't make any money, nothing. Literally sleeping in train stations, getting megabuses, filming musicians, working out, little things like getting back from a shoot thinking, fucking hell, I didn't even demist the fucking lens. So there was mist all over my lens and I couldn't see what I was filming. Like, I forgot to press record. The lens cap, honestly, mate, the lens cap, I didn't take the lens cap off. What the fuck was I looking at? I didn't plug the mic in. There's no audio. Like, all that shit for 9 years. Imagine how much I wanted to fucking stop doing it. Can you imagine? You can't imagine. I couldn't fucking buy a house. I couldn't do any of that shit. But then I also knew, but I understand, if I keep doing this shit, eventually something's got to give. How do I feel? How do I not be the best? How do I feel? If I stop now, fair enough. And even then, it's like, well, actually, he put the work in. He made money out of the game. Like, so only the last 4 or 5 years have I started to make good money. And before that, it was just kind of getting into the industry. But you've got to go through that. So when I look at other creators getting in the game now, mate, they're going, right, okay, well, Ads is charging X amount for a shoot. I'll charge 100 quid. And they're undercutting me. But then what they're realising is they're running ragged. And they end up sacking it off. I mean, honestly, mate, I don't know any other. There's probably one or two now, and they've only started, obviously, I know them personally, so there's a good chance they've watched what I've done. And, you know, even that, why do I not know anyone else? Because they fall short very quickly. They understand, fuck, this is hard, like, it's hard. But the 14 years hasn't taught me how to use a camera. The 14 years I lost 8 stone on my own body transformation. I understood the gym industry, understood the fitness industry, totally understand what people wanted, how they wanted to look, how they wanted to come across, what camera to use, what lighting to use. Why do you put down lighting in this gym? Why do you do? I understand all them elements, but the biggest thing is, it's kind of, I don't know the term for it, but it's almost like it's like the endurance. So for instance,
resilience.
No, more like endurance when it comes to working. So for instance, I can charge $1,000 for a shoot, right? And I can put a straight solid 12 hours on a laptop on that. I don't know anyone who can do that. Most people are like, fuck this, and they walk away.
Yeah.
But I'm on the next shoot when they walk away. Now, it's not because I'm fucking magic, it's because I did 14 years of shit that I don't want to do. So finally, when I'm making that kind of, or good money, I'm like, I'll put all the graft in and more. And then the client understands, whether, no matter how big of a profile I've worked with or how small or wherever you are on the kind of order of that, it doesn't matter to me. People understand that I'll stick around with ads because he's not going to give up. If someone just picks up a camera now and starts filming, it's like, will he be doing this in 6 months?
Yeah. The thing is, that's because you've put those 10,000 hours in, and I do think there's a point that everybody gets to where athletes get it, singers get it, professionals get it. You can go and do 12 hours on a laptop, not because you've got anything different to those people. You just learn how to get into the zone. You've learned over time you've become unconsciously competent.
Yeah.
So you don't have to think. So like I was talking about this the other day. There's kind of 4 stages of competency. There's unconsciously incompetent, where you just don't even know what you don't even know. And most PTs, when they get into the industry, live in that sort of realm. They're the most frustrating ones because they say everything with their chest, because they don't know any right from wrong. And then you get that stage where you're kind of consciously incompetent, which is probably like where I feel like I am with most things, where I know what I don't know, I know my limitations. And then the stages where you can get to conscious competency, where you have to think really hard, but you know what you're doing. And when you're thinking about it, you're in the zone and you can actually do things. And then once you've been doing something for 15 years, you get an unconscious competence where you don't even have to think about it and you can just do it. It's like professional athletes. It's like, when Ronaldo steps over that pen for his 700, 800th goal, he's not thinking about where his leg is. He's not thinking about, as like the steps that he's taking. He's not thinking about the crowd, the keeper, anything. He just knows.
Yeah.
He does his run up like he always does. He puts his foot through it and it goes where he wants it to. He doesn't even have to think about it.
I don't think people understand either that people don't continue things as much as what people think. Like, you've got more of a chance than what you think. Like, I'm don't quote us on these, mate, but look at podcasting in general. Have you heard the statistics about that? It's something like the top 5% of podcasts don't get past episode 10 in the world. Yeah. In the fucking world, mate. 10. Right? And only the top 2% make it past episode 20. I've done 60 episodes now. Well, probably about 70. Yeah. I've got some banked, obviously. But so I'm thinking, where does that put me in the order then? I've actually got a good chance. Mm-hmm. There could still be a couple of 100 or 500,000 podcasters around the world. Fine. You can't ungrow. And I tell these people all the time, like, I've met you and you, I can't unknow you. Mm-hmm. So, like, it's like podcast episodes. Like, I can't do less. I literally can't get worse. Yeah. Me following can only go up. Yeah. If I keep doing the podcast, will I have 10,000 subscribers soon? Yes. Is that, can you negotiate? No, that is definitely happening. Yeah. Will I get 100,000? Yes. I promise you. That sounds so arrogant. And because I don't mean it. Arrogant. I don't mean it. I don't have that. It's not like I don't believe I can. I don't mean that. What I mean is, like, it's life. It's an actual science. If you keep doing something, it will only grow. The difference is you're willing to get to 10,000 subscribers. But why aren't other people?
Whether it takes you,
I think
whether it takes you 3 more episodes or 30 more episodes, you're willing to get to 100,000 subscribers. Whether it takes you 30 more episodes or 300 more, and it's because everybody overestimates what they can do in a year, but underestimates what they can do in 10. They overestimate what they can do in 6 months. Oh, in 6 months I want to be the X, Y, and Z, but they can't get their head around the fact that actually put these things in place. In 6 years you could be at this place. They can't get their head around that. They think, if I don't have 1 million subscribers by the time I've done 10 podcasts, it's not going to work. Like, it could be it could just be the 200th episode that you do randomly is seen by loads of people, or just by chance you do you might do an episode with a fucking somebody who you just have no, nothing that you can really think of. It went fine. The week after they do that episode, mate, they might be front page news.
You just don't know, do you?
Yeah.
I think where it comes from is what you see is the crossover between fitness and business. Most, in fact, all successful people have an element of delayed gratification. What you're saying there is you lost whatever amount of weight, you got yourself in good nick as you were doing the same for your business. So you're teaching your mind how to fail. What do you do in the gym? You go there, every set is to failure. You fail in every single minute in the gym.
Yeah.
And you're doing that. So to succeed, you're doing that alongside making mistakes in your business. That's what's feeding your subconscious. That persistence is feeding into your subconscious. And now, no is not an answer.
Yeah.
You don't have failure. You see failure as something to move forward from, whereas you don't have complete failure in your mind because of that delayed gratification.
But that type of shit bothers me because I've got close friends who are unbelievable at playing certain instruments and they want to start the YouTube channel. And I'm like, mate, I don't understand. Like, you've literally got a talent that most people don't have. And not that you should be on YouTube because you've got fucking talent. I don't mean that. What I mean is he wants to be on YouTube, but he's like, no, but people might think it's shit. Well, okay then. Have you just wasted 20 years of playing that?
Yeah, someone's going to think you're shit.
Well, I
you know what I mean? Like,
I can imagine how many people think I'm shit.
Yeah.
Whenever anybody says they or them to me, they'll be like, oh, they'll something. Or I always go, who's they? Every single time without fail, I always go, who's they?
Think of it as a room, right? Look at 50 Cent. I went to 50 Cent concert when he was away. Did you go?
Oh, yeah, mate. How good was that?
Just best concert I've been to.
Best concert I've ever been to, mate.
Now, I've always been a fan of 50.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of people who hate 50.
Fuck them.
Know a lot of people who hate 50, right?
Who name them?
I'm a fan. I just didn't go to the concert.
Name them.
Right.
Get left out.
So
it's on site.
But when we were in that room, it was Ramo, wasn't it? Fucking
yeah.
So who gives a shit about the people who don't like 50? Like,
yeah,
it doesn't.
Exactly.
You're not in the room. You're not in the conversation. Doesn't matter.
You don't need everybody.
If you don't like content creators, you're not paying my bills. It doesn't matter anyway. Like, what does it matter? Like,
this TikTok,
same as the podcast stuff. Like
TikTok shite, like that's going.
I flew to Ocean Beach to film Win Lineker. I got him on the pod. And people were like, I can't believe you're going all the way.
Drop that, mate.
And people were going, I can't believe you flew to Ocean Beach to do that. I went, did he pay you? Like, I went, did he pay us? I went, I didn't do it for money though.
Well, he's not going to fucking fly to see him, is he?
I'm like, I'll wear mate. Like, what's going on here? Like, I'm like, oh well, I think Wayne's a bit. Or they've meant. I'm like, mate. Well, for one, I know better. Have you spent time with the bloke? No.
Yeah.
Right.
So I know better. He's a good bloke. But that's irrelevant. The point is that going to help me in my journey? Yes.
Yeah.
So I don't care if it can't help you in your journey.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
It's mad though. Because
So why does your opinion? Why are you trying to tell us that? I don't get it.
It's mad though because that person that said that doesn't know him, that has an opinion on him, is going to help your journey just through association, because people having a bad or a good opinion on someone, but knowing that person and you're using that as leverage for your business, it doesn't matter whether they like them or not. That guy's helping you.
You said that before then, didn't you? PT's getting into the industry. Mm-hmm. Do you think like they should be going down a certain route of like almost becoming polarizing or just having something about them? Because you see so many people get into the industry and they're just a bit vanilla and they don't really have any. And you don't have to have like really strong opinions, but everybody's got an opinion. Everybody's got something that they strongly care about and think about. But I feel like because it's the fitness industry, people kind of shy away from their opinions and they're like, oh yeah, like it's good, or it's, do you know what I mean? Whereas I think, one thing that we're conscious about, isn't it, is just getting our opinion across now. Like we've done enough episodes now where people can see what we're like as people. Just because you don't agree with someone's opinion doesn't mean you have to not like that person. I think that, I could think Joe could have a different opinion to me on something, but I've got enough evidence on who Joe is as a person to know that wouldn't make a difference to me.
This is the way I would say it. And I hate the word like be authentic and stuff. And should you be polarized and answer your question, like you definitely, you want to be authentic. You do. You want to be yourself, of course. But ultimately, this is a business. If you go to work at a dealership and you work for Audi, you put on a suit, you go to work. Do you wear a fucking suit when you're watching telly? No. You put it on because it fits the business.
Yeah.
It's the same as social media. Like, if I don't make sure I talk about reels and content on this podcast, it's not what I want to talk about all the time. I want to just have a laugh with the lads. But at the same time, I ultimately know, how do I get something out of this scenario? You should be thinking that all the time as a personal trainer.
Yeah.
Of course you want to help your client, but would it not be nicer for you to help 12 clients?
Yeah.
Of course it would.
It's leverage.
So I don't
Leveraging
understand,
your
like,
time.
I'm just in this just to like help out guys and like, I don't know, because if I said to you now, you will never get paid as a PT, but you can help that one person transform his life, but you'll never get paid. You might have to get loans out. You're going to struggle with your relationship. Would you really love doing the PT stuff? Nah, you've got to be funded for what you do, man. Like,
absolutely. Like I've helped because of that mix between helping people, the passion for it, and actually making a business of it and wanting to make money. I've been able to help hundreds of people throughout my,
exactly.
I've done it, been a PT 11 years now. I've helped hundreds of people. If I was just focusing on helping people, I would help 1 or 2 people. Do you know, you've got to have that business mindset and be kind of money orientated so that you can make it sustainable and help more people.
I've constantly in my career pivoted away from to do things that have impact at scale, and because I knew that that's where the money would follow, but also as a byproduct of that, more people were helped. If I just stayed as a personal trainer, I had 30 clients, I was doing okay, you know, got the gym, had a couple of PTs working out of there. There was probably 100 people come to the gym, amazing. People started asking me, oh, how do I become a personal trainer? I'd love to be a personal trainer. It was actually out of a little bit of, you know, my unwillingness to want to compete in an industry which was becoming more saturated, where I thought, well, you want to become a personal trainer, you want to become a personal trainer. I'll make more teaching you guys how to be personal trainers than I will do what I'm doing.
Yeah,
so I'll set up a personal training academy. You know, I've trained well over 1,000 people to be PTs, probably over 2,000 people to become personal trainers. On average, if they all have 10 clients, there you go, there's 20,000 people helped. I wasn't going to be, and I've helped 2,000 people put food on the table for their family. I've helped 20,000 people by helping those people become personal trainers. Then another shift, other PTs are trying to make money in the industry. So I'm thinking, okay, you guys want to have your own little personal training academy. Well, I'll set up a business which helps you build your own academy. So I've went from being a PT to teaching people to become personal trainers, to teaching people how to teach people to become personal trainers. Yeah. And I'll pivot away from that again in the future, back into into the software stuff that I'm doing, or because it's all about scale.
Of course it is.
By the time now I've got these academies, and one of these academies might help 1,000 people become personal trainers.
How much do you hate, like, for anyone who's listening or watching this, right? I must say this, right? I hate the phrase, if this just helps one person then my job's done. You're on fucking social media. Do you understand? When you put a video out, you don't just want to help one person. If you're a coach, that's not your job. If you're a PT, like, it's not, as long as I get this transfer, like, no, man, you want to, like, do you think I would do a podcast if I just wanted to get 10 views? No, I want a fucking million views.
If you want to help one person,
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Like, don't put it on social then.
Yeah.
Just
go and tell someone.
Just go and tell
one person.
I did a podcast.
Sit down with one person and
like,
just.
I did a podcast with Wayne Lineker. I want everyone to know that because I think it's cool as fuck. I thought it was class.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to just be like, oh well, I'm not gonna. I can't name drop. No, it was fucking sick. Are you doing that?
Yeah,
like, I'm not trying. Like, I'm buzzing with myself. Yeah. I remember. Fucking 10 years ago, fucking hell, I remember trying to get fucking signatures of a fucking Ed Sheeran.
Yeah.
What the fuck's that about?
Mate, like, I think the thing is that I don't know how many people will feel the same way I do about you going and seeing Wayne Lineker. I was buzzing when you said that you were going out there. I was buzzing when Mike said he was going out there to help you. I was buzzing when I saw the videos. I'm buzzing every time I see a clip. I've been on his. I'd never been on his Instagram profile before until you'd posted him.
Really?
And then I clicked on. I'd seen pictures of him because I'd seen people post, but I'd just never been on. I clicked on his and I saw that he'd reposted like a couple of yours, or he must have. Did he collaborate with you?
Yeah.
I was buzzing about that. So having people that you know who are genuinely excited about other people doing stuff, and I'm happy that you've done it, and I'm happy that you've been able to do that and grow in that thing because I know you and I like you and I think it's class. But also it inspired me, made me think, fucking hell, I could do something like that. And that's not me necessarily being selfish or anything, thinking about, but me seeing you do that made me think I'm going to get more people on, blah, blah, blah.
100%.
And that's what it should be like.
That's exactly what it should be
your
like.
success
That's what
and I should be
I
"That's
live off that
class."
shit.
Yeah, and you know what you said, obviously, I took on the gym that Alex was on about before, and like he said that the fear of competition is what actually made him change his model. Like I don't see it that way. I see competition as only being a good thing, and it's part of that. It's like you see someone else doing well, the people that are jealous of someone doing well are the problem.
Yeah,
do you know, they're never going to get anywhere. If you're like, right, they're doing well, great, that's great, because I'm on my journey. Do you know, I've got my things that I'm striving for.
You look at anybody, for instance, right? I do, for people who don't know, right? I do the majority of my work outside of the Northeast. So does that not go to show? Like, I know there's an elite few people who I know. You are one of them, 2 of them, sorry, and obviously a few others. But there's no one who I know who are doing well in this game in the Northeast, because most people literally. Like for me, for instance, you know, when I go to Manchester, Liverpool, London, Sheffield, Birmingham, wherever it is, right? I need content. I want more. I want to do this. I want to start a YouTube channel. I want to be there. I want to be in with this circle. It's constant. It's great for me because it builds the business, but it's great for them because they're hungry and I want to help them. Whereas up here, it's a bit like, I want the video, but I haven't got like 100 quid. I cannot. Well, then you don't want the video. Like film yourself, and that's fine. If you haven't got the money and you just whatever it is, that's absolutely fine. You've got to start from somewhere. I was the same when I was skint, and I totally get that. But I also understand that when I leave the area and go anywhere, people want you to win. Yeah. But here it's almost like, well, it's not. It's just. I mean, I don't want to shit on the area because it's not about that. It's just I don't get it.
I spend a lot of time out in the Northeast though. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
We've got academies all over the country. I'm down at our clients in London, so I get a taste of being out of the area. And you do see people are more likely to take a bit of a punt. I think, the Northeast's historically was the powerhouse of this country. We had the shipyards, we had the mines. This was a very, very affluent area, and up until even the 70s and 80s when the mines closed and things like that, there was a lot of money here and there was a lot of opportunities here. I think people have seen opportunities go over time from here, and I think maybe people have just got to the stage where they just think that you'd be foolish to think that you can make something out of yourself. I see it the total opposite way. I see the Northeast as the best place to set up as a base. Yeah. I'd rather be in the Northeast and service. There's a reason. You might have all your clients down south, but there's a reason you live here.
That's what I'm saying.
Because this is a mint base.
Yeah, it is.
I'd rather, I look at the clients that I've got down in London. I know that when I'm sat in that office, that it'll be a fucking $5-6 grand a month office. I'm sat in an £850 a month office, which is lush with a view over the Tyne. And what a great place to grow a global business from. Low overheads. I'm essentially outsourced, but I'm not, because I'm still in the UK.
Mate, when I'm in Dubai, I'm getting hired left, right. I can't get enough bookings, right, for one man in Dubai, right? When I'm in the Northeast and I'm available, the phone doesn't ring.
Yeah.
I go to Manchester, okay, I start getting the DMs. Go to London, fucking mental. I go to Dubai, can't move. Step outside my door, nothing.
Yeah,
it blows me mind.
What we find is, so we've got, obviously, most of our academies are in the Northeast because we're based here, but we've got, like Alex said, we've got academies all across the UK. Literally from top of Scotland to where's the, like,
Bristol, the southeast,
Isle of Wight. Do you know, like,
we've got Isle of Wight's probably our furthest away.
Northern Ireland, like these different places. And I think that what we find is the Northeast base, and this isn't shitting on the Northeast at all, but this is just an observation, is the Northeast base academies want to look busier than everyone else. You hear it all the time. How many times do we, oh yeah, mate, well, I just can't take anything on at the minute. I'm busy, busy. Everyone wants to be busy.
I've had PTs tell me they can't have a Zoom call for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, I don't have anything for 3 weeks. I'm like, listen, I can get the fucking CEO of the fucking £18 million a year training company on a phone call in 3 days if I need to.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? And they're busy. I can get their finance director on a Zoom call. It might take. They might not have any space for like a week.
Shows their attitude though. It shows how much do they want. Like, do they really see the benefit in this stuff? That's the thing.
I just think there's a lot of just trying to. yeah, well, I'm busier. I'm busy. Yeah, but the thing is, what we're saying is you can make between 325 and 675 a person on your courses, setting up your own academy, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, but you're too busy doing a £30 session. You're not going to see that you can make 6, 7, 8 grand a month doing this because you're too busy and you're focusing on looking busy rather than actually making money.
Mate,
I don't know anyone. I don't know anybody who isn't in fitness. I don't know anybody. Personal trainers, online coaches. I don't know a single one. I can't name them. I'd love you to. Who isn't putting out content and is smashing it? Literally don't know. The only people I know who would the people who do the best are the ones who are putting out content. Fact. From the top in the world put content out, and the people who are doing 10, 15 grand a month PTs in the Northeast putting out content.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Yeah.
Is it just because they've got 15 grand a month? No. They've got there because they've invested. Like, I don't understand it. Like,
this is the catch-22 that people can't get their head around. You don't start creating content once you're making money. You start making money once you start putting yourself out there.
It's like starting the gym once you're fit.
Yeah.
Well, it's like everything, isn't it? It's like you don't start acting like a professional once you become a professional. You start acting like a professional and then you become a professional because you've actually put the work in. It's like when you were playing sport, the guys who treat themselves as professionals when they're amateurs are the guys who become professionals, not the guys who go, oh, well, when I'm a professional, I'll do that. No, you'll never fucking be a professional.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how it works. You've got to invest first. You've got to speculate to accumulate. Oh, I'll start investing in this when I make money. No. You've got to start investing in that to make money.
Exactly.
And it's creating an online community as well. That's how you get busy as a fitness professional. You need a community, whether you've got a gym, whether you're a personal trainer, you need a following, you need a community. It doesn't have to be having hundreds of thousands of followers. Like, yes, that adds to it. But what you're trying to do with your content and getting people like yourself to help with is create an online community. Have someone that believes in your product and you as a business. Like, that's what we do in gyms. That's what should be done online.
Yeah.
Well, we've just said there, one of the first things you said is that, you know, these people who are smashing it, they've got 50 clients paying them £200 a month each. 50 people is not a lot of people. And I think that people are worried.
Mate, there's 400,000 people in Sunderland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or something. Do you know what I mean? Roughly.
Well, that's
like
the
like,
thing.
how 50
like three,
people.
like three of them go to the gym.
I'm pretty.
They've got 2
You cheeky
got that out.
bastard.
Fuck off. I have to. It's we're fucking
You're
sad.
one
Look
of
at that. You could have just said the northeast.
But right, listen to this, right? Listen to this, right?
I'm sorry.
But listen to this. But even from your own school, you know more than 50 people.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Like, I don't admit it. Unless the only explanation I can find, if you're a personal trainer or an online coach, and you define success as just, you know, scraping by, and that's fine if that's your goal, and, you know, everyone's got their own things, then that's great. But that's not the person who I can help. I can't help the guy who doesn't have money. I can't, unfortunately. It's a business.
Or doesn't want to
yes,
make money.
and that's fine. So if you want to make a lot of money in this, you've got to invest in content.
What are we talking about,
unless
like,
you know a celebrity and you're not on social media and he pays you $1,000 for a PT.
But we say
I don't know any other ways.
We say a lot of money. Okay, what would it cost somebody to get enough content from you to make it worth their while?
I would say, so for instance, well, it depends how much you want to invest.
I know, but say
Depends
for
how much
example,
noise you want to
Is it more to get more, or is there a level you
I'm
can?
brand new and I'm like what's the starting amount? And I just be really honest with you and I say, look, it's something I'm really passionate about. Every time I grow a little bit, I'm going to invest more. So it's not like the better I do, the more days I'm going to get in. What would be the kind of starting minimum amount of money that you would tell people, you know, you got to go away and you've got to pull together X amount? How much would it be to even start?
To start?
Yeah.
From an online perspective?
No, just to go and get the content done with yourself or someone like yourself.
You could do it for 400 quid.
So we're talking about 400 quid.
400 quid.
Let's say, for example...
400 quid's going to set you up for at least a month.
That's less than a lot of gyms' rents.
Yeah.
Terrifying,
well, for example, Pure Gym is £600 a month.
595, I think.
It depends on
GTs.
it depends. We run with the manager of
Depends
Pure
where
Gym,
it
so
is,
it depends on the Pure Gym. Between 575 and 675 is Pure Gym rent. JD's 500 quid a month.
And people are willing to do that without having anything. So you've got no clients, right? I'm going to go and pay a gym rent. and hope I get clients. But like someone like,
and then they've got to put the work in on the gym floor anyway. Like I genuinely know lads who are, I mean, I've done this with a lot of people who've worked in JD gym, so we'll use that as an example, who we've started working together. They're now online and they're doing 6, 7, 8 grand a month. That's literally, I still work with them now.
Yeah.
Like, so, and that's not because I'm a magic bullet. That's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is, once they thought, actually, do you know what? My cap in this gym is X amount. If I go online, it's unlimited. Yeah. How do I become an online guy? Yeah. Okay, I need to invest in online. What's that going to cost us? So there may be a stopgap, but there certainly was for me. You know, it's never gonna be just just pay ads 400 quid, and the next thing you know, I've got 25.
Viral,
doesn't work. Yeah. Doesn't work like that. It does. On the flip side of that, and I think it's definitely worth pointing out, I put a 8-second clip out on TikTok a few weeks ago. Got 4 million views.
Yeah.
Do you know the amount of messages and inquiries I got about videography because of that one clip?
Yeah.
So while it's not a magic bullet, it can be.
I think
not
part of the investment science, is it?
No, it's definitely science, not. No, you're right.
The more you make, the more you do, the better. The more you make, the more you put out there, the more chances you get to test.
More bites at the cherry, innit?
Yeah.
I think part of the investment, though, is not just that 400 quid, it is the time.
Yeah. And as well,
you can invest time or money, you can invest both, you get more.
And as well, I think ultimately, and this is me selling what I do, right, with a content PT. If you working with me, you're not just getting a camera guy. Like, I'm not just a guy who, like, I genuinely know what works.
Yeah.
Because I've worked with the best.
Yeah.
I'm not just saying like, oh well, I reckon we should try this.
You give them
you know what Gymshark are doing, for example.
Yeah, like if I know I've worked with this profile and they're doing this and this is yielding results for them, then we need to be going. That is the direction of where not like a guy turn up, like press and record and not know what's going on.
Yeah, what should we do?
And that's great because you can get the content, but what you need is you need all right, ads. I've got my content. What do I do with it? Well, you need that.
They're paying for your expertise at the end of the day. They're getting you in there to give your feedback on how it works, because unless they've went and done the actual research and done the studying and stuff like that, then you either pay in time or you pay in money. And that's for everything across the board. You either get an online coach or you fumble around working out yourself for 3 years until you work out what works best for you. You either go and pay you to come and make some content, or you fumble around on YouTube videos for 6 months, figuring out how to take a good video, doing the audio, doing the captions and stuff like that. You either come and get business mentoring from me and Joe, and we'll get you to $5,000 a month in the first 6 months, or you spend 4 years in the industry like me and Joe did before we got to that, and you figure out how to do it.
Yeah.
You pay in time or you pay in money.
Yeah.
And the sooner you realize that you've got a finite amount of time, but a potentially unlimited amount of money, is when it just switches in your head like that. I just go, oh, that's going to take me 20 hours this week to do that, is it? I'm not doing it.
Yeah. Well, if you had infinite money, and anyone listening or watching, right, if you ask yourself, if you had infinite money and you wanted to be a coach, well, a budget, let's say, would you put out content? Trust me, mate, you'd become a content fucking machine.
Mate, you'd have a guy follow you.
You look at Alex Hormozi, look at anybody, right? Even what I'm doing now, like I'm putting out 60 reels a week, and that's nowhere near enough what I want to be putting out. I know PTs who want to generate business, and they're putting fucking a reel out once a week. Like, I'm like, mate, like that's been missed. Like, people in 6 months ain't saying that. Like, what you doing? Yeah. That's gone. The content I created last week, I pretended didn't happen. We need to create for this week.
Yeah.
We need to create. I need my guy. Right, have you done the edits? I need me content. I need this. We need this. Like, but I understand at the start, if you don't have the investment, the capital, the budget, whatever it is, to invest in that content, or someone like myself, can be hard. So start making it yourself to start with. But don't stop.
Hormozi said something really interesting, and he was like, the reason he wasn't on board with creating content and pushing the social media at first is he didn't like it as an investment, because he said, you post a bit of content and then 6 months later nobody's ever going to see it again, because it's right at the back of your feed. Nobody's going to like scroll down 6 months to look at your stuff. But then he realized that it's not the content that you're collecting, it's the followers. The followers are the thing that you're collecting.
What's the vehicle, isn't it?
You're collecting those people. You're putting new stuff out, put them in, and they're the thing that you're building. You're not building content. The content's gone once it's like nobody's scrolling back fucking 6 months through your stuff and liking it. The only time people are scrolling 6 months through their stuff is because they find their ex's Instagram. It's like the only thing that you're scrolling back through 6 months on is to make sure
you've had some sad days on Instagram.
is to make sure you're doing better than every ex that you've ever had.
Yeah.
But do you know what I mean? Jokes aside, like
So are you?
Yes.
It was the pause. The pause was.
No, obviously I don't do that. That was a joke. But do you know what I mean? Like people get caught, don't they? Double tap and then they're like 6 months deep into stuff. But
that's caused you some
realistically, you're not fucking 12.
People get caught, don't they? They just double tap and then they get
These
caught.
people out here, I've heard, are often...
And then they're around the house.
Yeah. So I've heard, apparently.
I saw it in a documentary.
Yeah, Joe told us. No, but do you know what I mean? Like, you need to get that out of your head. But also, that's a beautiful thing because you can just start remaking old content. People want to fucking sit down, brainstorm 600 new ideas. You don't have to. You have to have 3 core principles, probably, pillars that you lean on, and you just fucking hammer them.
It's being active. That's what it is. So, for instance, if you, again, for personal trainers, there's only, there's a couple of ways you can train your arms. That's it, right? But how is Mike Thurston still talking about training his arms 12 years deep on social? Mm-hmm. Because he's staying active. He's consistently posting about things.
And he's reaching new people.
It doesn't matter. You've got to be active. You know, if you went to a restaurant and you're looking for, you and your lass, you're looking for a restaurant and you've got 10 to pick from in Newcastle. One's been active on social, doesn't look that great, but the rest have been dead for, the last post was 8 months ago. You're probably still going to go to the active restaurant. It's what happens. You get a burger, you take a photograph of the fucking burger. The burger wasn't that nice, but you still post the burger because it looked sick. Like, it doesn't matter. You've got to be active on, so that is what gets attention.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
People who don't spend anything on getting attention don't get it. Like, if you don't do your hair, right, and you're looking for hair compliments, really bad example, but you're not gonna. It's not gonna work, is it?
I like the example of the restaurant because there was actually Did you ever go to Aruna in Newcastle?
No.
It's like a fish restaurant. Unreal. Some of the best gran I've had in Newcastle. Unbelievable. We were the only people in there. Right, I'd never seen it before. We just happened to be passing it. You've then got. I'm not even going to name one because there's that many restaurants that are active on social media that are packed, and their food's not anywhere near as nice as that. Mm-hmm. So the quality as a fitness professional, the quality of what you produce is probably the last thing that's going to get you busy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course.
And this is the thing, you'll actually get better. It's better to be good at selling and okay at what you do than it is to be okay at selling and really, really good at what you do. Because at the end of the day, a personal trainer without any clients is just someone with a certificate. You're not a personal trainer until you're actually doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to be actually in there, in the trenches, getting it done. And I think that's something that people don't realize, is that you'll actually get better. Like you were saying, if you'd had your success earlier, you wouldn't be where you are now because you'd got found out. If you'd been going to fucking Misfits, the boxing, if you'd been going to Floyd Mayweather and you left the fucking lens cap on, that'll be you gone, mate.
Yeah,
you made those mistakes when the stakes were low.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's what's like built you up. You never.
And that's
do that
why
again.
I tell people to create their own, even when they work. Yeah. All my clients, mate, they're still putting out their own stuff. They're not exclusively working with me, and I just give them all the content. I still say, get on your stories.
Yeah. Well, that's
because you've got to remember as well, the shit that you put out, people know you ain't a pro. So when you fucking drop the camera and laugh and sorry, whatever, there's me Nutella and me oats this morning, whatever. People are not expecting a fucking movie.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, that's Alex. Fucking sound.
Yeah.
He's doing that fucking daft shit again. Fucking hell, he's taking this shit seriously. And like, there's a you get what I'm saying? You need a balance, because if you just start putting just all my stuff out, it's a case of then going, well, actually, fucking hell, is it even Alex? Like, is his content guy just telling them what to do? It does, then I'm not trying to do myself a disservice, but you've got to put, it's like me. Why have I started a podcast when I've literally got a production business? Because I need people to understand who I am.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, once people start to understand me, they actually, fucking hell, he doesn't just bang on about fitness. He's actually got a bit crack, or he likes interviewing these random gadgets, or does this, that, and the other. Like, okay, I can relate now because I'm interested in that too. Oh, you're a videographer, cool. How much you charge? And I get into the conversation that way. And all I've done is filmed a fucking podcast with some guy who's done 25 years in jail. Like, it's mind blown.
It can never be a bad thing for people to know who you are.
Yeah.
It used to be, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And now it's not who you know, it's who knows you.
You said that at the event.
Yeah,
I wrote that down.
Did you actually? I feel like I coined that.
I put that in me notes.
I feel like I made that up myself. You know, I've never heard anyone else say
I've said it on a podcast just.
Well, it's fucking...
As me own.
Talking about authenticity.
But yeah,
no, it was purely me own.
It's so true though, because anything inbound is better.
Yeah.
Like inbound is best because you're now dictating the terms. Like you've got people coming to you like, oh, I want to work with you. I've seen you've worked with this person, that person. Like they're coming to you. You know how fucking hard it is to send DMs. Oh, do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? You need a couple of people to take a chance on you. But that's never a position of power, someone taking a chance on you. And obviously you've, been able to then produce on it and snowball and it grow. But until you get that kind of start, it's difficult. And that's why when you can actually get to the stage where people know who you are and they're coming to you, it's, you shouldn't fish in a barrel.
It's about the who knows you, and it's like being is it personable? Is that the right word? Like because for instance, I know I'll not mention the name, but there's a really big media company in the Northeast, right? And they had a really big contract, and I was also working on the same contract and trying to win it and da-da-da. And the reason why I got the contract was because they said that they didn't feel like they were talking to an agency. They were talking to a person.
Yeah.
You know what they said? We watch your podcast.
Yeah.
I was like, fucking hell. They were like, we feel like we already know you. Yeah. Like, we're not just getting Joe to turn up to the shoot and do a fucking shoot. Like, no, it's probably him. He's probably like, and I feel like, again, if you're a personal trainer, you need to be talk about the fact that you're fucking taking your dog to the vets because someone you're going to coach will have a dog. Trust us.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
They say it takes 6 hours to develop enough trust for someone to know you well enough to want to buy from you.
Well, that's really?
So what you're doing essentially with your business is helping them get to that 6 hours faster. You're helping people develop them online communities, which is absolutely essential to build trust and to get sales.
I'll get you to the 6 hours faster.
Yeah, well, think about it though. Like all entrepreneurs write a book that lasts 6 hours. That like if you go on Audible, all entrepreneurs write a book and it always lasts between 6 and 7 hours because they know that that's the sweet spot. And it's true. Like I listen to podcasts, I call them by their first name. Like the second Tim Dillon's Albert Hall show came available to buy, I literally went on there and I couldn't buy it quick enough because I've listened to so much of his podcast and I like listening to him talk. And like, I didn't even think about it. The money, it could have been 5 times more expensive than it was and I still paid it. It could have been 10 times more expensive than it was and I would have paid it 100%.
That's mental.
So it's just like, he'll fucking see this, he'll put the prices up. But like, he's not going to see this. He might see this. But do you know what I mean? It's like, because I am not a customer or a client, I'm a fan. Yeah, and if you can get people to be fans, we talked about this yesterday. I'm not a client of Newcastle United. I'm not a customer of Newcastle United. I'm a fan. Even if I go and they're shit, I'm still a fan. Even if the service is shit, which it used to be and is a little bit shit at the moment now.
You're going to turn up?
I'm going to turn up because
it's the same as the Love Island guys, isn't it? Like you'll get someone who comes off Love Island, they'll put out a PT program, and they might not last, but they'll sell a few thousand copies.
Oh yeah.
It's because they've got fans.
Yeah,
but they're not a PT, and they're still selling.
But then that we had James on the podcast, and he was just saying that they get found out because they don't have the passion.
Yeah,
they don't have the passion to keep it going.
Yeah.
They want to do it because they know they can make some quick money. But honestly, you tarnish yourself. You see so many people on social media who've been on one of these programs and they take the first offer. You can tell they've taken the first offer. They're selling booty or they're doing other shit stuff. You get those ones that have got a bit more about them and they hold out. And you've got that Molly May who'd held out and didn't just jump on all the shitty things. And now what is she? Is she
creative director?
Creative director. I mean, Kanye West says it about Lady Gaga. He's like Gaga's the creative director for Polaroid. I like some of the Gaga songs. What the fuck does she know about cameras? And it's it is though, isn't it? Like, what does she know about? But it's these personal brands and like holding out for things. And building. It's the reason me and Joe are putting so much time and effort into these things. For us, it's about building our personal brand first and then our business underneath it, because right now it's FitPro-X, but in the future it might be something else. But that, and for you, you're building your personal brand, because right now it's the content PT, but I'm sure in the future you'd like to have a team of vetted, really great content creators underneath you. One of my friends, Sam Bentham, who's got Rascals, changed it from Benthams to Rascals because he wanted to build a brand, because he's building his own personal brand. And, you know, he's getting deals from left, right and center, 1 million followers on TikTok, 1 million followers on Instagram. He's now got a team of like really good guys who are running his 2 barbershops. He's going to open more, all off of the back of personal brand.
There's a reason why I called it the content PT as well.
Yeah, that's the question I was going to ask, is when did you decide on becoming the content PT?
Day I started.
Day you started?
It was from... Sorry, I remember I had a business with 2 other lads, a marketing business, and I remember them saying, because I was doing a lot of the work with the PTs, and they went, "Ads, but the problem is," they went, "you're never going to be able to sell this business because you're becoming the business. Like, you're turning up to the shoot, so when you start building these relationships, how the fuck are we going to sell this? Because people want you. You're making yourself like, well, you can't sell it anymore." Yeah. So I thought, actually, when I start, although it's still me, and I think I've got to develop that relationship to get the client, but ultimately, I know for a fact when I've got a contract with this company, that company, this company, that company, there's no reason why I can't just pick that up and just sell that business, because they've got the contracts in place.
So that's when the premium comes with ads being there.
Yeah,
I think that's the
thing.
That's the thing. Like, so
I think there would have to be, for anyone, if I ever wanted to sell this business, quite a big handover period. I don't think it could be something that could just be sold with contracts and all. Yeah. I think it would need to be, we need to develop the relationships via you first.
But you would have to build your team underneath you first, and then have them and have the systems in place. And then, you know, you might not even ever have to, because it could be a real good earner for you, and you just go to the, you know, when Misfits is there, you're there. Do you know what I mean? Like, Eddie Hearn's at all of the big boxing fights. Do you know what I mean? He has to be there. He's the promoter. He has to be there. Do you think he's in all the shit meetings that he doesn't want to be in? Do you think he's going around the gyms meeting the people? They probably meet 5 people before they meet him. And that's the big time when they meet, and he gives them the, you know, how are you doing? And it's that thing. You turn up to the big events, your team handles the other things, and you're the sledgehammer. I mean, you see it with like loads of big CEOs now, loads of big business owners. Like Richard Branson turns up when it's the big ones. Do you know what I mean? Like, he'll turn up to go and, you know,
launch a rocket.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the thing, mate. When I was filming the Logan Paul and the Dylan Dennis and Fury and all that type of stuff, I wanted to be there to focus on that event. Now, I've got 2 guys who I work with, in the great lads, but I can only be there because I've got them in place now. But I know that in order to get to the point that we talked about there, if I ever wanted to sell, there's got to be a lot more people who I work with, because I can't, you know, this is something that I don't want to just be. I want to be at the top. I don't want it just to be a business that makes X amount of money. I want it to be a big thing. There's an office that I drive past every day in the Northeast, mate, and I know I want it. You know, when you know you want something, and I've always had it. And it's funny because I had a guy on the podcast 2 weeks ago that I released, and he's got a 10 million quid property portfolio, and he actually said he knows about the building and all the rest of it. And I was like, it's mad to think that he knew exactly what building I wanted, why I wanted it. Like, he just understood. It's hard to explain, but do you ever, like, for instance, when I used to walk to school when I was younger, right, random one, I used to walk past this house, and it had its own tennis courts and everything. I was like, one day I'm going to live there. I used to always say it to the lads, yeah, you're taking the piss. One day I'm going to live there, one day. I got a flat there. Now, I was only renting it, I didn't buy it, right, but I actually embodied that experience, and I lived there for 3 years. And I was like, I'm looking out, like, it's weird to explain this, but I'm really mad with shit like this, right? You know, if I want to buy it, whatever it is, I have to envisage actually living there, and what would it be like to look out of the windows? Yeah. How would I feel when I wake up and have a coffee? What am I looking at? I know that sounds mad, mate, but I'm like that with office space, or I'm like that, like when I got my office on me, I was like, how am I going to feel being here? Well, it's a good location, it's in the city centre. I know, but there's no window on that side of the road. I don't want that. Oh,
yeah, I think having that doesn't settle for second best mentality is part of being an entrepreneur.
Do you reckon?
Do you know? And I know people that pay. I know people that pray that aren't religious, and they pray every day, and it's because they're feeding the subconscious mind with what they want. They're putting it out there at the world, and it's coming back.
Well, it's just the other day I rang Joe and I was like, we were talking about something. We're kind of getting over the top of a bit of a hump at the moment, aren't we? With just some stuff that, in our business, there's tough things as well. Obviously, like, cash flow issues from people not paying when they were supposed to and stuff like that. Like real stuff that's really difficult. And I just said, mate, close your eyes, right? 22nd of the month, like X, Y, and Z. And I did, didn't I? I said, close your eyes and think about it. And I do that shit all the time. Mate, I think about how things are going to feel. I think about how it's going to feel when I do that. And and then obviously it's, you have to be careful because I always try and, especially when I'm with the boys, like when I'm with my kids, I really just think about that moment. I really close my eyes and I'm like, I think about it and I picture myself in 40 years thinking about that moment. So I picture myself and I feel really lucky because I know that in 40 years I'll do anything to be back where I am just with them like that.
That's a good skill.
And I really close my eyes and I think, fuck, in 40 years time when they want now to do with me, unless they want money, what's it going to be like?
Because if you don't, thinking about it too much can take away from actually doing it, can't it?
Yeah.
Was it Tim Ferriss or someone who said that he used to book this holiday? He used to get a thing from the gratification of booking things. So what he'd do is he'd book things so far in advance that he'd get to relive the moment every month. We'll be going there in 6 months, or we'll go there in 2 months.
Yeah.
But to a point where the anticipation was better than the actual experience. So what he did was he went onto the balcony and he had his wife and I can't remember, I think it was Tim Ferriss, and he was looking out over this fucking lake wherever he was. And he hugged his wife and that, and he was like, look, this is phenomenal, this, innit? And she looked at him and he was like, do you want to book it again for next year? And they sat on the laptop and they booked this. Obviously, they were leaving the next day.
The anticipation.
So,
isn't
how
it?
And do you know what, mate? I literally do that every time I go somewhere. I'm not joking, mate. When I'm with even when we go to Ibiza, we always go to Ibiza, right? And when we were there last, we didn't take the little one. We're in Ibiza, we went just down to Mambo's, a few tinnies and that, just proper chilled. And I was like, even then I was like, do you reckon we should stay there next time? When I'm literally at the fucking place.
Yeah, literally.
And it's like, even I can feel myself pissing myself off a bit.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, you need to chill out here, but I can't help it.
Yeah.
I know, even now, I'm thinking, and this is mad, as we're having this conversation, I'm thinking, well, if this podcast doesn't happen again, have I covered what I want to cover?
Yeah.
And I'm literally, even half of the things you're saying, I'm listening, but I'm thinking about, well, am I going to get what I need to say out there?
Yeah.
And I don't know where that comes. I've always been.
I think it's from being organised person point of view, is I look forward to getting everything ticked off my list that I've got in the diary to get through the day, and I literally throughout the middle of the afternoon, what will bring us up, we all go through lows through the day, bring us up just thinking about sitting on the sofa at night, knowing that I've ticked off everything and I've done everything possible that day to get to the next stage, which is the next day.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. And do you find that you work best on a night?
Yeah,
I'm the same.
I sit and do work on a night time.
Struggle through the day, mate.
But that's just because I'm firefighting during the day. So I've got shit coming in that I have to do on a night time between the hours of 8 and 11:30 is when I usually do quite a lot of work.
Yeah.
I'll get in here depending on whether I've got stuff on, I'll get in here between 9 and 10 most days, unless I go to the gym first. And then I kind of break my day up like that. And I just feel like when I'm in a no distraction zone, got the telly on, I'm watching a series and I'm just cranking out that stuff, and it just feels good. I go to bed knowing that I've achieved something.
Yeah.
I think that's a message I want to give to people who are qualifying with their PT stuff or they're struggling to pick up clients. When you've got that downtime, and it's not all about hustle culture and grind set and all that type of shit, but there's no reason when you've got Netflix on or you've got to be able to enjoy Netflix. I think that's important as well. But if you've got fucking EastEnders on or whatever bullshit's going on in your house, find half an hour to just outreach. Just do I literally said this to one of my closest mates yesterday. He said to us, he went, "Ads, what's your outreach looking like now?" Honestly, mate, I shit you not. I do more outreach now and I'm genuinely fully booked. I do more outreach now than I ever have in my life because I'm fucking terrified. I'm absolutely terrified of losing business. It's weird, mate.
That's the thing.
Is fucking crazy.
That's why people fail though, because when they are busy, they stop doing the things that got them busy.
Mate, I'm not gonna. I'll not name it because I don't want to name drop anymore right today. But there's a massive guy in the fitness industry. He's Mr. Olympia, right?
Oh, come
there you go,
on,
right? And I got him on.
Is it Dorian Yates?
No, but anyway. So you know what he said to us? You know what he said to us? He went. The reason why I'm gonna come on the show is because of when you fucking messaged me. He's like, who the fuck does that? I think I messaged him at like 2 o'clock in the morning, voice notes and that. But I had a bit time where I was like, I'm not sleeping here. I need to do something. Who knows? I know that he's probably sleeping. So who else? He's not getting attention from anybody else right now. It just so happened that I caught him at the right time, and I get that could be a bit of luck. But is it luck?
No, you've got to put yourself out.
But I always say, like, I've got clients now who've got coaches who've got 20 clients, right? And they're like, right, I want to get the 10 grand a month. How do I get there? And I find myself doing more like business consultancy, because what I find myself doing is, right, we've got the content, they're putting the content, and we've got a 6-month plan, got a real strategy. We've just had a strategy meeting, everything's gone well. And I'm like, okay, so how's the outreach looking? Well, to be honest, like I've got to this level, I'm getting a lot of no's and I'm disheartened in that. Right, okay. So so what you're telling us, you're disheartened. So does that mean you don't want the business now because you're disheartened? I don't. That's the bit I don't get. Like, I'm always disheartened because every podcast episode, if I talk about that exclusively, that you see, it looks, oh, it's great. You're on it every week. Them are just the yeses. You've got to remember. Do you know what I mean? Exactly. Like they're just the people who said yes. But what about Ronnie Coleman who said no?
Yeah.
Or what about? So it's hard for me to understand. It's like, yeah, well, ads. It seems like every one of you comes on. Right. No, mate. Because do you know to get? I mean, for instance, next week, mate, I've got a bank robber on next week, right? And he's done one of the biggest bank heists. And I was upset. I was like, this is fucking class. I need to get him on. Do you know how many other people who have been to prison for robberies who've said no to us?
Yeah.
But I ended up getting the biggest bank robber in England on.
Aye, because you persisted.
But people, I mean, is it bigger robber? I don't know. But people who've done less of or less interesting things have said no to us, which is mind blowing to me.
Yeah, I've got so there's a PT in the gym who he was flying a couple of months back, and then he lost like 3 clients, and then I didn't see him for like 3-4 weeks, and look, there's nothing wrong with this, right? But like, he's coming in, he's saying, oh, you know, I just feel shit, and you know, I started blaming him. He should be blaming you. If you're self-accountable, then you're going to go far. So I'm not ridiculing for that, but he's blaming himself to the point where I put him off coming in. So I hadn't seen him for 3 weeks and that, and then and instead of being like, oh, you know, that shit sort of thing, I said, mate, imagine where you're at now. You've lost 3 bits of business, right? Imagine where I'm at now. Imagine how much business I don't get daily, how many no's I get, how much failure I experience every single day. You know, what we see now is those yeses. You've got to go through 50 no's to get one yes.
But imagine, because it does, it's a fact, the number will change. But if someone said to you, the 1,000th no will be a yes, how quick would you get through 999 no's? It blows me. Like, I know if I ask 1,000 people tomorrow for 100 quid, I'm getting it. Fact. Like, I don't give a shit. I'll say to you, Alex, can you lend us 100? If I have to, I'm gonna get the 100 quid, aren't I? So if I do that 1,000,000 times, what am I getting? 10 grand. Whatever the fuck it is. But I don't get it. It's like I know this sounds right. If your goal is to have 1,000,000 quid in your bank, what was it? 50 years, 20 grand, right? If you do everything in your power, don't go out, don't go to fancy meals, try and save, get a 40 grand a year job and try and save 20 grand a year, you'll have 1,000,000 quid. Like, I don't understand the like, well, I'm not, well, but you haven't wanted enough if you don't then.
It's about putting things into perspective, isn't it? Like
100%. You know, if you want to go to fucking Thailand with the boys in September, but you're skint now, I can put me life on you'll end up in Thailand.
Well, that's like before you were saying, if you just need to get 400 quid together to get your first content session, go out there and fucking hustle, get 4 online clients who are paying you 100 quid a month each, and hustle and put it towards it. Like, there's always things that you can be doing. And like you were saying there about your client about the personal trainer who was disheartened, the one thing to remember is that Warren Buffett, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk all have money problems. They're just a lot fucking bigger than yours. Yeah. Like, when they have a money problem, it's a real money problem. When they have a money problem, it's billions. that they're in trouble for, and that they need to like, they might always have enough money to put fuel in their car. Well, not Elon because his car's electric, but they might. Do you know what I mean? Like they might have the money for that, but they'll still have money problems.
Yeah.
Someone said to me, business is like a jungle, and the further you get into it, the bigger the things are that are trying to eat you. It doesn't get easier. You're just fucking harder because you've been around a lot. You got a big spear in your hand. The things that are coming to kill you are massive, but you don't give a fuck.
I just don't, and I don't want to come across like I just don't see people grafting hard enough. Like honestly, mate, and I mean it. Like I mean that in the kindest way possible, because
I see it hot. I see them grafting hard enough, but not for long enough, and they're not persistent enough.
Right. If
you
you're
know,
a coach,
this guy got busy for 1 month, and then he stopped doing everything he was doing. You know, he might have got cocky with it. He's definitely, you know, took his finger off the button.
But if you're a coach,
but
right,
they're just not persistent.
That's what I'm saying, right? If you're a coach, and what success? Like obviously there's everyone's level
what
of
does success look like?
Let's just say, for argument's sake, it's 20 clients and you're struggling.
Mm-hmm.
You're not working hard enough. You're not, because I know lads were 50. So if you can't and you have tried, then you shouldn't be a coach, should you?
I think it's
because there's got to be a level of that. So you know, when I was trying to get clients, right, before I got into the PT game, I was the content PT, but I needed to get some kind of cash flow. So I need to film anyone for money. Mm-hmm. You know where Ultraflex is in Durham? Mm-hmm. Mandale Park. There's not a business I've never knocked on the door and spoke to and had a meeting with. Not a single business. I've never worked with one of them other than Ultraflex.
Yeah.
And that's crazy. That means every single person in Ultraflex, in Mandale Park in Durham, has told us to fuck off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you not think that's crazy?
Yeah.
But you know, everyone in Ultraflex will think, fucking hell, he's busy.
Aye.
Well, you're in that room, like the 50 Cent concert. Mm-hmm. You're in, so you only see that room.
Yeah.
So, like, people need to understand that. Like, when you buy that car, right, from a fucking dealership, VW on Scotswood or whatever, and you think, fucking hell, I bet you we make some good commission. He might have never made a sale for 3 fucking months.
Yeah.
You're just thinking about yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, if I'm a coach, okay, I've sent 20 DMs, outreach cold. Okay, did I personalise them? Okay, then can I send 30 tomorrow? Can I send 50? Can I sack going Fernando's the lad on Friday to make sure I get 500 done?
Yeah.
Okay, well, why am I not getting clients then? Is the information wrong? Is my marketing good enough? Honestly, mate, I don't understand it. Like, you don't need me. For yourself to pick up clients, you're a fucking person with a mouth.
Yeah, and if you're not resilient enough to take that no and keep going, then you're not going to make it.
You're not going to make it.
I believe anyone can make it in business. I believe anyone can.
The problem is that people have a mindset that you have to be in the right place at the right time, which is only partly true. You need to be in the right place every time. You've got to be there every single time, turning up, because one time that you're there is going to be the right time. You know, these people who make it, they have that breakout game where, there's a guy in the NBA, Ja Morant, who wasn't going to go to a big school, and it just by chance happens that one of the scouts from a big school went to the third court, which was like the lower players, to look at them, and Ja Morant was there, and he was killing it. He was killing it on every single time he stepped on the court. It wasn't just, he didn't wait until he got onto the top court to play his best. It was separated. Third court, worst player, second court, top court. He was killing it on the third court.
So no matter where he was.
And the guy went to fill his bottle up, and they were like, who the fuck is that guy? Now, if he was playing to the level, and that's what you get people playing to the level because they're scared of shining in an environment that makes them look stupid for trying hard. I think one of the things is people don't want to be seen to try hard.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm getting at. That's what I'm getting at.
You don't want to be seen to be trying hard in an environment because people might think you're stupid.
Yeah.
Well, do you know what's really stupid? Not fucking doing anything with your life.
Yeah.
And if you have to try hard, and people look at you and go, oh, he's a try hard. The first they'll laugh at you, then they'll ask you how you did it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they'll see that you've done those things. It only looks stupid until it works.
What's the worst case scenario?
That you look like an idiot?
Like for me, it's I just get a job.
And what, that's someone even then though, but you're at the point where you wouldn't. That's not an option to you.
No, it's not.
It's not an option, and I think you need that mindset.
Mate, I've worked at Nissan, I've worked at Asda, I've worked at Carphone Warehouse, I've worked at fucking different football clubs. I've done all that type of shit. But I know deep down, if I had to, I would.
Yeah,
I'd be a taxi driver. Whatever I had to do, I would have. But I know that whatever I did, I wouldn't be doing that for long. Like,
I made this point yesterday. Is someone's like, you might have a whinge about something that's going on within the business, and someone would be like, well, you chose to be in business, or you chose to be self-employed. It's like, 11 years ago. I'm in it now. There's no choice now.
I've made the conscious choice for years to make less money pursuing something that I knew would make me more money in the future. So when I am now getting to that stage and people are going to say shit, then they just need to know that I was making $5,000 a month as a PT every month, rolling on, at least $1,000 a week. That's just what I used to do as a PT. I knew I could do it. I had the formula. I was busy. I was working hard. Fucking hell, I was getting there at 6 o'clock in the morning. I wasn't leaving till 10 o'clock sometimes at night. So it's not like I was just like doing something spectacular. I was just putting the hours in. I made the trade to make considerably less than that for the past 5 years since I really got out of the industry. Up until recently, I've made the conscious decision to be making less money. So do you know when you're like, well, I'll just go back to getting a job. I'll just go back to being, up until like 1 or 2 years ago. At any point, I could have just went back to being a PT and made more money. Yeah. I could have took a step back and made more money than I was, but I just knew that if I stuck out at this and if I kept grinding through, people thought I was stupid.
Yeah.
I feel like
literally told me that I'm stupid.
Someone called me Jammy the other day. Jammy, I thought, Jammy, it's not that when, I bought the gym and I had one wooden chair and a set of dumbbells, it's like, Jammy. Like,
I know this too well. I know
because they see where you are now and just be like, oh well, it's easy for you.
I feel like they think though it's like, oh well, it's alright for you. It's this, it's that, it's the other. Like I think I've told this story on another podcast, but I'll say it here. Right, I was in Dubai, doing some fucking client work. I was in the room. I was editing. I wasn't going out. There was like Mike Thurston and all that lot. They were all having dinner at this place. I was supposed to go, like called Brandon Harden, invited us along. I didn't turn up. I was editing. Had to get the work turned around. Came back and I was in the city of Sunderland, right, and I went for some breakfast, right, and I seen a few of the lads who I know from years ago. They seen some posts on social media. They went, "How was your holiday?" Instantly, mate, like the anger was just next level. I was like, "Me holiday? But I've seen you cutting around the palm and that. It must be alright and that. Us like grafting, like obviously they've got the tradies, like they've got proper grafters." And I'm like, "How was me holiday? What? Because I was filming in a hot country." I
sweat my tits off.
I was in an apartment. Yeah, I was on the palm, but what does that matter?
I could have been anywhere.
I would have rather been in Sunderland, mate.
Yeah.
And I mean that, I genuinely would have rather been in Sunderland with people who I know around us at the time.
Yeah.
So it's not about
rather
like
struggling to breathe in the air conditioning.
The flip side of that is, if I don't want to go to work tomorrow, I'm not.
Yeah.
You have to. But I had to go through years and years and years of when I had ads on TV, when I had a music channel, I was skint, mate, like next level skint, proper skint. Yeah. I didn't pass my test till I was 26, man. Couldn't afford a car.
I can't count the amount of times that I've had to put my own money into the business whilst people are telling me that it must be nice.
Yeah.
Do you get it now? Do you get that now? Do you get stuff like that now? Like,
there's
all the time. Like all the time, but it's easy for you as the one I hear. It's because I'm trying to obviously.
They don't realise though, because they'll see you sitting doing a podcast. This is work.
Yeah.
I'm at work now.
Yeah.
I'm not just doing this for the sake of it. Like I'm thinking, will meeting Joe and Alex today get me closer to where I want to be? Yeah.
Yeah.
Will it serve us in some way? Yeah. I hope we can all benefit from this scenario.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you know what I mean? Like I'm not just like if respectfully, if you're like, do you fancy a bit crack? Like, and what? No. I didn't like not in a that's me. I like you know what I mean, but it's not about that. Like I hope it will be the same. No, ads like, can we do something together? Can we work together?
Yeah.
Not like, should we just fucking go and play darts?
Let's talk business.
Like it's got to be something.
This
like
is how I make friends, though.
Yeah, exactly.
So
that's what I mean.
I saw something and it was like, why is it that and this might be a generalization, but I really found this like most of all my good friends are men, and it was like. Women tend to bond.
He's just saying that because his lass is watching.
No. Women tend to bond. Women tend to bond face to face. So women tend to bond. Like I'm going to start that again. That is terrible.
All my friends are men.
All my friends are men. No, so it was saying that women tend to bond face to face, like speaking to each other and having that sort of relationship with each other and meeting to do things, whereas men tend to bond better side by side. Which means men tend to bond doing something together, whether it's in the trenches together, whether it's working on a business together, whether it's on a going to the gym together, but it's side by side. It's a shared goal going towards something. And I really feel like that. I really feel like all the friendships that the friendships that I value are all people that I've worked with. I've done some sort of graft with, because like we took steps towards something. Whereas I don't have to have that with like female friends, because I feel like I can, you can talk to them, and it's like you don't have to be working on something together. But like my male friends, I want to be working on something together. I want to be doing something, whether it's something recreational or whether it's something that's...
Because you feel like you're going somewhere all the time, don't you? With your male friends, it's different. Like you're almost competitive, want to do something.
Yeah.
Whereas like I bet you've got friends who you've known off years ago who are not in your industry, and it's like I just can't have that time. I would love to.
Yeah.
But it's just taken away from where you want to be.
Yeah, I think it's industry and mindset.
Yeah.
is the defining factors on whether a friendship sticks or not as a male, because it might work the same for females. But like,
I'm saying more like same sex, so like male, female.
Yeah. Because I think you can sharply tell when you're just pulling away, and it's not necessarily on a money perspective. It's not necessarily on a success, on a power perspective. It's just a mindset perspective.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
And I want to stress the point of that. I don't think we're any better off. Like, I don't think it's better to be like us, because I always say this. Like, I always wish. I know this is a weird wish to have, but I wish I just had a normal 9-to-5 job. A lot of times, I stress all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying people who have 9-to-5 jobs have an easy life. That's not what I mean either. What I mean is, I wish when 5 o'clock came, I could just turn my brain off.
Yeah.
And go home, stick Emmerdale on, have me tea, go to bed.
Sounds ideal.
Yeah.
It sounds like heaven, that, doesn't it? Not saying that people who have them jobs don't work, but what I'm saying is, there's not a minute where I swear, there's not a minute, mate. Like, if I wake up at 4 a.m, it's not, I don't mean like I'm David Goggins. I'm on again it's like a, did I email that person last night? Like, it could be any, it just...
Yeah. See, I do this because my brain is always active. So I'm probably doing things the opposite direction. So I'm doing this because I'm always active, and I need something to keep me entertained constantly. So running a stressful business is perfect. If I had a bit of downtime, I'd be Googling facts and remembering them all, and I'd be doing just because my brain's constantly going. Like, mate, for a period, and this isn't something I'm proud of, I knew the height of every single active NBA player. There was like 450 of them between like 2008 and 2018. You could name an NBA player, and I could have told you their height, just because I was like constantly like researching things about them. Like someone before said, "Oh, isn't Carmelo Anthony like 6'8"?" I was like 6'9".
Yeah, we do deal with stress. Obviously, we're both going through the same stress. The way me and him handle it are completely different. Like, he's singing on in the corner, and I'm like, we need this done.
I think that must be nice in a way, though, because I don't have that with anyone. I'm on my own.
It's been a revelation for me.
The two people I work with, they work remote.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
even
a very
see
lonely
them.
place, business, and I tell you what, finding someone with the same mindset has had a huge benefit to me, my personal well-being, because it's so lonely. Do you know, like, I mean, I'm owed for the gym. There's a contract waiting to come in, which is 12 grand, right? If I was going through that alone, and obviously we're owed for FitPro, ridiculous. I'm not even going to get into the figures, right? Ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
And so if I was going through that alone, I would be in a very, very dark place. To have someone that's going through the same thing and thinks the same way about it is a revelation.
It's impossible to speak to certain people about it, because like, you speak to someone, you're like, oh yeah, like, we've got a client that's behind on some payments and they owe us like X amount of money. You speak to a normal person, the amount of money that they owe us could be 4, maybe 5 times their annual salary. So in their head, they're thinking, fucking hell, that must be nice when that comes in. It's like, no. They fucking owe us it. No. So we've had to,
you can't see our overheads.
Yeah. We've had to like shell out all of the stuff for that. So we're like, when that drops in, but it's not Christmas. Do you know what I mean? When that drops in, I'm not off the turkey to get my tits done. It's like, it's hardcore. Until then, but you can't speak to certain people about it.
Because you kind of factor, don't you?
Kind of, yeah, but not really. Like, we were.
So northern.
Yeah, no, we were.
We kind of do, but God, I'm not going to speak about it, so we didn't.
It's hardcore.
It is. Look, and the thing is, what the frustrating bit is like, it's on paper. It's like, you know, if we're paid on time for the,
Mate.
for the gym and for FitPro,
On paper, mate.
I'm looking
getting-
on paper.
Yeah,
I'm paid on
yeah.
time. I'm flying.
On paper, mate, I should be getting sized up now for a diamond encrusted cock ring.
And then, you know, but then like
Got a tiny
then
one.
something doesn't come.
No, I'd be able to afford it now. Really, I'm just.
Something
Jealous, yeah.
doesn't come in on
One
time.
diamond.
Doesn't come in on time, and we're fucking. People think we're being greedy, we're withholding their money.
Like,
Like,
See, I suppose
I haven't got your money.
I don't have
there's a reason we're next to the time.
I don't have that to deal with because it's massive. No, I don't have that to deal with because I don't have the overheads like that.
Yeah.
I don't have to deal with any of that type of shit.
We've chose to go in a different direction. Like, yeah, we wanted to like smash it out and try and go big. Like, we're trying to go. Not saying that you're not trying to go big. Obviously, you've got like a
I know
totally
what you
different
mean.
business
Yeah,
model.
yeah.
But we're trying to like quickly become a household name by like working with loads of people.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, and it's stressful, but it's like there's pros and cons of it. If we smash it,
Where do you want to be? Like, what do you have like a exit strategy?
We don't necessarily have an
but-
exit strategy. So our whole thing now is about building up the personal brand. I think,
We've got a residual income strategy.
yeah, we've got something that we're building towards. I think because we're building the personal brand, I don't necessarily think that we're building something to sell. I think that we're building a big revenue generator.
Mm-hmm.
That's the kind of business mindset I have. Something that's going to generate loads of revenue so you can pump it into other things. That's what we're building. We're hopefully building something that's going to be pumping out, you know, huge amounts of disposable income. That's kind of why we're trying to build something as big as we are. You know, the FitPro-X brand might be going somewhere. You know, I've got Empowered, which is the education software, which I use FitPro-X as the case study for. That could be something that I sell. But I think me and Joe are focused on building up our personal brand so that people want to buy from us, and the product that we have at the moment is FitPro and our coaching and our PT academies and our network and stuff like that. So
Yeah, we've basically built a business model. We're trying to build a business model that is unbreakable. So wherever someone falls in the fitness industry that wants to be a professional in the industry, we have a model. We have a product for them. If you're just starting off, you get into the academy.
yeah.
If you know,
you're top
from
end,
the
you can
academy,
get
you go into
people
our
in and
social
get paid off,
network.
yeah.
From the social network, you know, you built a few clients and stuff. Now you're ready to go into our exclusive, which is our 6-month plan to get $5,000 a month. After that, is getting them to $10,000 a month.
and you
So
can come back as a mentor and work with us and have your own PT academy underneath you. So it's
you
like,
can fall at any point
Yeah.
as a fitness professional, whether you're smashing it, you can still, you know, work with us to if you're just thinking about being a PT. So we're trying to develop a model that
An
is
ecosystem
for
of-
everyone.
yeah. And it's more about like, you know, we don't want to build like a huge army of a team here at FitPro. You know, we want to build the business that we're trying to build is we're trying to build a special forces unit rather than building an army. We want to have people who are, you know, coming in and who have a certain set of skills that mean that we don't have to have, you know, 20, 30, 40 members of staff. We're trying to build to have the highest amount of income with just a lean team. Because, you know, I've seen businesses that, you know, they expand like that. So they'll just have like 20 people on the bottom who are just servicing the people. What I want to have is like a Swiss Army knives, but like a unit of them, a core that we can deploy to be like, right, we're going to do this. Bang, this is the team. We're doing ads, we're doing that, we're doing that, we're doing that, we're doing that.
Yeah, I got it.
The team moves on to the next mission. We do this, we do this, we do this. And then it just kind of works like that. So it's special forces over army. It's people who have got skills that we can deploy into certain areas, which just means that we're going to be able to move quickly, because the bigger your army gets, the harder it is to maneuver.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to move an army. You have to be strategical with it. Special forces could be in Ukraine tonight if you wanted them to. They'd be on 2 hours to move. And that's the sort of team that we want to be. You know, an opportunity comes up. We've got the infrastructure, we've got the team, we've got the resources. Bang, we can just do it. And that's what interests me the most. I want to be a speedboat, because at the moment you're competing against big cruise liners, but it takes them a long time to turn direction.
shift,
They want to shift 1 or 2 degrees. Bang, I'm just gone. And that's kind of what we're trying to build.
Love it, mate. Sounds
But mate,
Been
gonna
class.
yeah.
Absolutely mint.
Yeah. Anything else
Enjoyed
you
this,
want to
mate.
say?
Nah, mate, I'm good.
No, you're good. You got it
Loads
all
to come
out.
from that,
Nothing
like-
ticking over like
Nah,
you needed
mate.
to say.
I'm all good.
Right, spot on. Mate.
That went from like us interviewing you to you interviewing us. It was
He
great.
always does
Yeah, I
it.
love
He
that,
always
mate.
does it.
I
He
love
always
that.
does it.
Like, I
That
love
was
that.
class.
He's